Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 6 of our August month-long mindfulness challenge. Thank you for being here. We are going to jump right into today's activity. So I chose mindful eating as today's activity, partially because it's already an activity that you're doing every day anyway. And I've already talked about this quite a bit, that a great way to get started with mindfulness is not to add something new to your routine or do something special or try to find additional time in your daily schedule to do special activities. You can absolutely do that. And hopefully by the end of the month, you'll decide on a few activities that you would like to include. But to start out, think about things you're already doing, and all of you eat every day, I am hoping. So you already have some scheduled times throughout the day that you're ingesting food. And I'm going to talk about ways that you can do that in a more mindful way. And it's my experience and it's my opinion that doing so can have some benefits to you. So first and foremost, we eat because it provides our body fuel. It lets us do the things that we want to do. That's very important. And I'm a huge advocate and proponent of healthy eating, being aware of what we're putting in our bodies, to operate in the most optimal way possible. But that's not what this is about. Now, we could talk about that another time if people are interested in talking about healthy eating. But today, I just want to talk about how to eat what you're already eating in a more mindful way. So just like when we did the driving activity, it's going to be very similar to that. I want you to choose a meal or a snack, any time that you're going to be ingesting food today. I want you to choose one of those times. You can do more, but at least one time when you're eating today. And I want you to go into that eating mindfully. So just like driving, we're going to do a couple of things. I want you to pay attention to what it looks like, meaning your food. What does your food look like? What does it smell like? And hopefully there's some pleasant smell associated with it. And what does it taste like? Okay. So you can start this process with meal preparation. And perhaps you're like many people, you're very, very busy. You don't have a lot of time to prepare food. So if you're choosing a meal that you didn't prepare, that's totally fine. You can still go through this process. But if you are preparing your meal, you can start this mindfulness at the very first step of preparation, whether it's as simple as you opening up your cabinet and looking to see what's in your pantry, looking in your cabinet to see what kind of dishes you're going to be using to put your food on. What does it feel like to get each of the ingredients out? Paying attention to what it feels like if you're opening a can with a can opener. What it feels like to stir the food, or maybe you're chopping up some food to go into a recipe. Each of those things is going to give you the opportunity to think, what does this feel like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? And taking a few extra moments to pay attention to the presentation. If you're typically used to just kind of throwing things on a plate and mindfully eating while you maybe scroll through your phone or watch TV, this would be a good opportunity, just like the driving. Is it possible for you to put away your phone or just move it away for a few minutes while you are mindfully eating your meal? Again, I think that's a good opportunity to model to the children that you may have or children that you're around, to start modeling that mindful behavior so that they're not also getting used to doing other things while they're eating. And I'm not saying there aren't circumstances in which you can't multitask. You definitely can, but that's why we're doing this mindfulness challenge, is to practice doing things more mindfully so that you can pick and choose and maybe decide that you would like to try to eat a couple of your meals more mindfully and put away the phone and focus on what's in front of you and focus on what it looks like and what it feels like and what it tastes like. Okay? So now that you've gotten your food ready, you've mindfully prepared the food, you've paid attention to bringing the recipe together, or even just opening up a bag if that's what you're doing to get your food. You're putting it on a plate. Now, how are you going to eat it? Are you able to set a nice place for yourself and your family at the table, as opposed to, again, maybe sitting in front of the TV? If this is a meal that you're eating at work, do you typically eat at your desk while you're working right in front of your computer? Or is there another location that you can move just for a few minutes? Again, I don't want this to have to be really difficult, but this is a challenge. So I'm going to push a little bit and say, can you find another location away from your desk where you can set your food in front of you and focus on it and be thinking about exactly what I said. What does the food look like? What does it smell like? And what does it taste like? So that you're really experiencing the meal and you're not just shoveling it in while you're doing other things. So think about location. Is it possible that you can eat with another person, whether it's at work or at home? Because certainly sharing a meal can be a wonderful experience, but you don't have to. Eating alone can be wonderful too, and sometimes maybe that's the only moment you have that's quiet and where you can enjoy just being alive. So think about all of those things as you eat. And let's say you choose just a snack and not a full meal to be mindful. That's totally fine too. But think about how we typically eat snacks or things that aren't necessarily meals. They do tend to be very subconscious. We grab something, we open it, we eat it. We maybe don't even remember what it tasted like because we're finished like that. So as you eat, I want you to just really think about the bite of food that you're taking and really experience it. Give yourself time to think about what it tastes like in your mouth as you're swallowing it, as you're chewing it, as it goes down, before you start picking up the fork to take your next bite of food. Again, you might need to slow this process down a little bit because maybe you're used to just shoveling it in because you have a lot to do, and I understand that for sure. So take your time. And if this is just a snack, maybe you're grabbing some cookies or some chips or a piece of fruit, can you take an extra second to actually take it out of the bag or take it out of the container and maybe put it on directly onto a plate instead of just eating out of the bag? Again, to slow down the process, to give you time to actually enjoy the food and see what it tastes like. And actually, it takes your stomach a little bit of time for the receptors to feel full when you're eating. So if you eat really quickly, you might just keep eating and overeating until your body gets that signal that you're full. So slowing down can also just be a great way to give your body time to do what it needs to do as your stretch receptors in your stomach um, can tell that your stomach's getting more full of food. So slowing down the process can be beneficial, not just for mindfulness, but for health as well. So again, be thinking the whole time as much as you can. Always come back to, okay, what does this look like? What do I notice on my plate? What are the colors that I see? What are things that I like on the plate and things that I don't like? Is this a smell that I enjoy or do I not enjoy it? All of those things. And then you can even think, how do I feel when I'm finished? Do I feel satisfied? Do I feel full? Do I want something else to eat? Was this a satisfying meal to me? And just like all the other activities, there's really no right or wrong answer to any of these things. You're just paying attention. That's all there is to it. You're just noticing and you're paying attention. And just like meditation and just like driving, there's going to be moments when your mind starts to wander and suddenly you're not paying attention anymore. And that's completely normal. It's completely fine. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean you're bad at mindfulness or anything like that. In fact, every time you notice that you stopped eating mindfully, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're just bringing your attention back to what you're doing, and you just start again, and you keep doing that until you're finished. No big deal. So please let me know if mindful eating is something that you've ever thought about before, if it's something you already practice, or if you're like myself or a lot of people, you just kind of eat without thinking because you have a lot to do and you're trying to multitask and you're trying to eat and do something else. Let me know if you found this beneficial or not, because again, what I'm hoping is as you go through the month, maybe you're writing yourself a note or maybe you're circling on the calendar and you're keeping track of things that would be beneficial to do on a more regular basis. So we're practicing, but we can keep practicing and we can do these things as frequently as we want. You could decide, forever and ever, I want to try to eat more mindfully as much as I can, and that's just a goal of yours. Or it can be something that you try to practice maybe in the evenings when you're home with your family, and the rest of the day it's not as much of an issue. Or maybe you like to start your day off in a more mindful way, and so breakfast is really good. It's all going to be dependent on what is beneficial for you and what it means for you in your life. So let me know what you think. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it on your social media. And remember that if you want to be eligible for this Sunday's free giveaway, then please make sure you're commenting either under this video or in our Facebook group. And I'll leave a link again to the Facebook group underneath in the description box of this video in case you have not joined. Again, thank you to everybody that's taking time to comment. It means a lot. And I will see you tomorrow for day 7.